What's going on, traders? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to be going over a topic on gold and scalping forex in the market. After watching this video, you should have a much better understanding of how to scalp gold and approach gold in the forex market throughout the days. This video is going to go over a beginner's blueprint on how to find good scalping entries on gold throughout the day. If you're new to trading, scalping really just means catching quick trades to catch small price movements and profit from them. Why is gold really good for scalping? Well, gold is a great asset for scalpers because it's highly volatile. That may sound kind of scary in the beginning, volatility, but as you get more experience with the markets, it's something that you like and that you adapt to, especially with gold. So what does volatility mean in the market? It's meaning prices can move up and down quickly. Volatility creates opportunities for traders to jump in and out of trades at a quicker pace. Since gold has a lot of volatility, its candlesticks on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute can have quicker reactions that are much more volatile. Compared to like your average currency pair, like the Euro USD, at many times of the day, throughout the day, gold is experiencing a lot of volatility in the market and making different movements. So there's an importance to understanding when gold really moves the most in the day. We've talked about in other videos the best time to trade gold. So tie a lot of that info with this video together and you guys will learn a lot. What you got to understand is the importance of the London session and also the New York session. But London session is a 9-hour session. It goes from 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. In that whole span of time, gold can experience a lot of different price volatility and a lot of different price movements from 3 o'clock in the morning to 12 p.m. Eastern time when the London session finishes. This is very, very key to understand because during the London session and the New York session, especially from the open to the end, the volume increases dramatically in the market. So this is when you see gold prices moving the most, giving scalpers plenty of different entry opportunities for buys and sells in this period of time. So for gold, scalping blueprint, you really want to focus on the London and the New York session, that duration of time. Scalping is a style where you have to spend more time on the chart to catch these different moves. You're locking in for a period of time. You're not just looking for one move. You could maybe be looking for multiple moves over a session, over the London session, over the New York session. So to keep it simple, as a beginner, focus on scalping gold during high volume periods, getting in and out of trades quickly. When you're most likely to see a price movement is going to be during the London session and New York session. If you go on TradingView and you put on a tool called Sessions Break, for instance, this is going to show us when the day starts and then when the next day starts as well, when the day rolls over. So we have one day starting here, that day of price action finishes here. We can then look forward and we have another day. So I put on the Sessions Break indicator or tool here. We're currently looking at today's price action and we can see since here, this is how much price action we can see on the 30-minute chart. If I go to a 5-minute, there's a lot of different movements happening throughout the day. What we got to pay attention to is the London and the New York session, that whole window of time, or even something I like to call pre-market, a little bit before the London session. I find a good time to start watching gold is around 12 a.m. Eastern time / 1 a.m. Eastern time, a bit before 2 a.m. Eastern time. So what is this? What time is this? This would be considered pre-London, aka late Tokyo. So we have late Tokyo, pre-London is a time where volume starts to increase in the market for gold. You're gonna see going into around 2 a.m., which is pretty much like right before London session, the London hour. Around 2 a.m., going into that hour is when volume starts to pick up in the market for gold. You're gonna see an increase in volume because like we've talked about, guys, in our previous videos and other videos on this channel, when a session starts, volume starts to enter the market more. There's more volume, there's more active hours when your session's beginning. So when we look at the sessions break, for instance, we understand the days. We understand this is a day of price action, right? We can break it down and understand when is the London session and when is the New York session. When we look at gold, we have to understand 3 a.m. Eastern time is London session, right? But volume starts to come in the market before 3 a.m. If you look at what I said, kind of like 12 a.m. Eastern time, 1 a.m. Eastern time, that's over here. And then you have like late Tokyo up here. So coming into some of these hours around this time, the market can start to pick up with volume going into London session, and then later hours going into the New York session, which would be over here. So it's key to understand kind of like pre-market volume. Volume can start to kick in before these sessions, pre-market, but mainly we have the London and the New York session every day in these hours, or a little bit before these hours. There's gonna be volume in the market. And I'm gonna show you guys a strategy real soon that you can use to understand where you can look for entries in these hours for scalping. It's gonna be very, very simple, nothing too crazy. I've talked about it a little bit on the channel as well, but we're gonna go more in depth. So this is your scalping kind of blueprint for gold. You gotta focus on time. When am I locking in on the charts? When am I looking at the charts? I find it's good for high volume times like London through New York. I don't mean just spending 30 minutes on the chart. I mean even watching the chart for the whole session, keeping an eye on the charts from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 3 a.m. beyond that. That's what scalpers do. When I scalp, real scalpers, they lock in on the chart for a job time. They treat it like a job, really. Like real scalpers, they're getting in and out of different moves. They're catching buys, they're catching sells. Maybe overall they're holding a stronger bias in one direction, but they don't marry one trade. They may scalp into bigger trades, right? Maybe scalp into an intraday or a day trade, but real scalpers that I've met, they will sit on the charts from 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. or maybe a bit before that, depending on how the market is going, depending on how many setups they can spot or the market provides them, right? That's what real scalpers that I know do, and they're really profitable with it, but it's time consuming. You have to be active with it, and you have to be good at making quick decisions because it is time consuming. You do have to lock in on the charts for maybe 3-4 hours, couple of hours, 5-6 hours even, kind of like a job, going to work. If you think about it, I live in a city where there's these big financial buildings and there's traders that are paid to go to work and sit at a desk. Some are paid to analyze, some are paid to take trades, right? Some are paid to do like forecasts. You think about real traders, right, that have a job to go to work. What do? They sit in a screen from 9 or 8, earlier even, till 5 p.m. till market closes, depending on what time zone you're on, right? I'm referring to me, I'm on the Eastern time zone. So a real trader treats it like a job in a way, whatever their style of approach is, right? If you're a scalper or a day trader, you're going to the chart at a time and locking in, right? Kind of like a job. You go to work and you show up, right? That's a big key in trading, right? Showing up every day. So let's go back into the charts a little bit more and understand we have two really key points in time, London and the New York session, right? These are times of volume. I'm just marking them ahead of time for now. And now what we're gonna do is mark horizontal lines on the chart. We're gonna keep it really, really simple for this. And let's just honestly use today's price action for this. We're gonna use this day currently and yesterday. We'll only use 2 days so we don't get too much cluster on the chart here. So let's use today's price action first. And we understand today's price action began here, right? Which for me was technically yesterday, but market open, market close has a different time than maybe where your time zone is. That's one thing to also take into consideration. When the market opens, when the day starts, when the day finishes. It's really, really key because you can see today was a bullish day on gold. So anyone who really held trades longer would have capitalized on a bigger move. But let's talk about scalping for this video. So in order to really understand gold's price action, we're gonna have to take our horizontal line. One tool we're gonna use for this video. Our other tool is going to be price and the candlesticks and price action itself. We're going to mark every $5 on gold, okay? So what scalpers will look at a lot is price action. And me, I'm known as a scalper and day trader. I tend to swing the market from time to time. It just depends on what the market's giving me, what my plan is. I've talked about that in other videos. You can check them out on the channel. So for me, scalping gold is important for understanding some of the things I already talked about, high volatility times, locking in on the charts. The next thing is referencing all the $5 points, right? If we're gonna pay attention to gold and look at its movement from London to New York, it moves a lot from London to New York. But I wouldn't say it moves in a straight line. It's not perfect, right? London session begins at 3 a.m. I like to consider London like 2 in the morning, pre-market, kind of what I was talking about moments ago in this video with the pre-market topic, right? So if we take into consideration, London session hours are beginning down here. So price, it moved up, it went in an uptrend, right? It ended up breaking structure here, and then we ended up pushing up. Now New York session is right here, 8:30. That's the beginning of it. That's just the opening of it, right? Price doesn't just go up in a straight line. There's buys and sells at different points of liquidity and structure, okay? When we look at gold in a simple way, we can look at the $5 points, like 25, like 26.95 here, for instance. We can see a strong resistance there. If we look at 26.75, if we look at 26.75, so the market's not just going in a buy out a straight line. There's a lot of price fluctuations. There's a lot of different price reactions happening at or around these $5 reference points. Some of them are stronger, some of them are longer, right? Speed and recognizing a reaction, because you have like 26.90 here, right? For instance, I'm on a 5-minute chart right now. When price first hit 26.90, boom, reaction. Scalpers out of that trade. A day trader might be thinking, I could have got in already and maybe it's a sell again, but you're seeing quick reactions here, quick reactions at that price, right? Market's pushing up, it's in an uptrend for the morning. A scalper is catching an entry there when price is reacting at 26.90. You can see a whole number there, right? Quick reaction, market comes back to a previous structure point. What do you notice at 26.85 when it first hit 26.85, right? This is a good move for scalping, right? Because it doesn't sustain forever. So when you're looking at scalping, the mindset is like, okay, I can be getting in and out of moves. Some could hold, right? Some of these winners could hold, but I really want to watch price because not all of them will sustain, but there's reactions, right? There's these quick reactions like this, 26.85, right? What happens when the market goes $5 up? You see another reaction. And then you see price pulls back to the previous structure there. There's a sell, another sell, a buy. There's a break through the structure, right? This is breaking through structure, going higher. So to watch this, to visualize this, you need to be on the charts. Like if you're looking for a one-hit signal, it's intraday day trading, focusing on a strategy that applies to maybe one move or swing trading style using higher time frames. When scalping can get you in moves that could go longer, especially if you're trading with the trend. You can see here, obviously, buys were more of the picture this morning for gold, right? It came from even 26.75, right? Scalpers try to recognize when they're wrong quickly because you can have quick reactions on price. So as much as like you can see these price reactions a lot of times, if you look at early London session, 26.85, the market forms a nice shooting star, which is like that candlestick right there that I'm gonna circle right now. So this is a shooting star. You can see on the 5-minute. So you might see different candlestick reacting at price, like showing like, boom, we just rejected price. Shooting star formation there, boom. Next candle goes down. Perfect entry for a scalper, right? Using price and resistance, right? You can see to the left, we have another rejection candle there later or earlier in the night in Tokyo session. So when you're looking at gold throughout time, if we're looking at gold throughout a period of time, let's say late Tokyo or around London session, there's gonna be a lot of different reactions that can build up. Like here you can see beginning of London session, you have a nice reaction at 26.85. Price comes down, we have a nice reaction at 26.80. Just in a matter of like a bit over an hour of price movement on the chart, you can see 26.85 reacted once. There's a bearish rejection candle out there. Price comes down, right? We're testing a previous structure as well. And you can see a nice reaction at 26.80. Not too long after, a bit over an hour later, the market comes down to 26.80. So you have London session starting here. Just in the beginning, you have 1, 2, 3 reactions. So it's like the style of scalping and combining it with price can find me some solid entries at different points in time, right? Throughout time. Like here we have potential buys, here we have potential sells. At the top, we have a potential sell. At the bottom here, we have a potential buy. If you notice here on the 26.80, what do we have on price? So it's important to understand rejection candles. We talked about it in a lot of our other videos. Price doesn't really reject here. If we go to a 15-minute and we scale the time frame up, there's a big 15-minute engulfing that starts rejecting. If we go to a 30-minute, right? You can see the 30-minute starts rejecting here. Next one goes up. So when you're scalping, you want to be looking between the 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute for different candlestick confirmations and waiting. Because you could have, for instance, like right here, there's no candlestick rejecting price, right? So it's important to wait even for rejection candles at these prices, because example here, right here, you can see no rejection at price. But what happens when price comes to 26.75? You can see a 5-minute rejection candlestick at price. So that gives me a clue and evidence that price has formed a potential support there, right? So that's one thing you can be waiting for at and around these different price levels. But if you're looking throughout a period of time, guys, like I said, look how many times the market touches, let's say, a different $5 or $10 level in gold and forms a support or resistance around it, even in the New York session hours, right? New York session hours, you have a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, a touch here. So these prices, when you spend time on the chart, if you lock in on the charts and you just watch price and you keep up with it, these prices will help you find better entries throughout the day for more of a scalping style in the market. If we go back and look at one more example of this, a previous day that I want to reference is over here, this day, right? Might not look like a whole lot on this day, but if you look at 26.55, you have nice reactions there. If I just start to mark some of these $5 levels, right, on price. So here's another day of price action on the 5-minute chart. We have the sessions break tool on that we can see where the day starts and where the next day begins. So from day to day over. If I take this day even and I just mark up the prices, this is a good way to back test. So what can I do? I can go to previous days and section out my sessions break. Look at a day of price action, right? And I can understand, okay, this is where London begins. This is where New York begins. Let me study how price behaved in these different days. For example, this is a day that I'm going to use right here kind of as a reference point. 26.40, 26.45, 26.50, right? We have these different prime numbers where we can anticipate, that's a key word. Why did I say anticipate? Because price gives us that anticipation ahead of time of like, if we're pushing up to a price, maybe we're going to react here, or maybe we can anticipate price going to one of these prices ahead of time. But this is a good way to back test this, guys. Put on your sessions break, kind of like I did in the beginning of this training. I put on the sessions break to mark the days, and then I went into the sessions a little bit more. But even if I look at a full day of price, I can analyze and sort of study different times of the day where price will react at these different whole numbers. And if you do this every day throughout the week, you study previous price and you keep up with price, I'm sure you guys will get a much, much better understanding of whole numbers. So study this information on your own, back test it, kind of like I showed you in this video, guys. I hope this helped. I hope you guys got value from this video. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions regarding scalping or anything we talked about, be sure to drop a comment on this video. I will see you guys on the next video.